a large medium on that last live. This one is going to be a traditional large. I felt bad after I finished it and was like, man, what if somebody really wanted to do a large and they wanted to watch the live to do it? So I am going to go ahead and do the traditional large where we had started before with the 3 in the back. If you guys want to check out the base parting on how to get your row by row, go check out that video. It is linked in the description for the traditional large set to get your rows sectioned off. Now, the difference from the one before compared to this one, it will be less braids, larger parts, which will be the traditional large. Some people will be like, okay, I want a large set, but then they be like, I want it full. If they want it full, go to that other video, because this is not really full. You can really see the parts a whole lot more than the other one that we did. So let's go ahead and get started with that one. And we are going to time ourselves on this one. So we are already a minute in, and we go ahead and start from there. All right, so go ahead and do your bases, get you some jam on there. I always scoop more than enough, but I don't use all of it. So y'all don't scoop a big old thing and then use a whole bunch of it. Just go through, dab a little bit on there, and then wipe the other part back off on whatever your disc and things is that you have. So then comb it through. And the mannequin for this one, this was an old school mannequin, so this one is not linked below. The mannequin that I think is best for braids is linked below, and you guys can see how that one is in that other video. So we are going to start our point in the middle. We know this is the middle of the head, remember? So we are going to part off from both of those. That's why it's important when you guys are doing your row by row that you keep your guidelines, because you're going to need them. So we know that's directly the middle of the head. We use that to start our point. Let me scoot this over a bit. Unlock this chair. Okay. So once we've parted off, and see how this one looks a little wider off to the side than this one does. So we're going to bring this one over just a little bit more. That looks better. And just double check on both sides and see how it looks. Okay, take you a little bit of jam and twist these 3 off. When you're doing the traditional large, I mean, it's meant to be large. So if somebody is like, okay, well, I wanted it fuller than this, they definitely wanted the medium parting onto it. And you want to make sure that you're doing the one that they asked for and the one that they paid for. Because if you do the version like I just did before, that one is not going to be as fast as this one. This one will get you done pretty fast because it's a whole lot less in braids. And if you're going to add the jam on it to pre-section everything off like how I'm doing right now, you guys do not need to add a whole lot more when you're going back through to braid it up. So we are going to our second row. We got 3 on the base for this one. Go ahead and jam your bases. Remember, when you guys are working with your mannequin, use a light jam. The shining jam is perfect for when you guys are working with the mannequins. Wipe off whatever your extra is and comb it through. I really don't worry about making it super smooth to the scalp and all of that, because you're going to want to do that when you get ready to do each braid. Right now, we just combing it through. Okay, so we know this is a right side up triangle, so we need to make an upside down triangle from this same point. So we are going to kind of like angle like that and see like, okay, that one goes to that point, so we're going to do that there to get our upside down one started. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Going to look like, okay, that works. And then part there. You can clean it up. Add your little extra jam if you need to. With these mannequins that have the more of a straighter texture to it, those you typically need to add a lot more jam to for them to stay, which is why I like the other mannequins over this one if I'm going to be doing braids. All right, so from that point, now you're just going to go over. You do not have to make this one have a point all the way to the end just because it's a side one. So just make sure it's pretty even as far as the thickness of that one and this one. That's pretty much what you're doing there. Add you a little jam so that way you can twist it off. All right, now we're gonna go over to the other side and we're gonna do the same thing. Go from that point over and we got us a nice triangle there. And we are about done with the nape, and you're about 5 minutes in now because we were, no, 6 minutes because we were a minute off. Okay, and now we're gonna go to the next row. Still keep it where we're doing just half of the head at a time for that one. That way you don't have too much hair out at once. Put you a little jam. You don't have to use all of it. Just base it. And then comb it through. All right, so now we're gonna use this point to create the upside down triangle for the one that's up here. Since this one is right side up, we want to upside down. So we're gonna lay the comb across and look and be like, okay, we can go ahead and part straight across there. And then we're gonna do the same thing here. And we're gonna bring it up just a bit, just like that. That one's a little off. Okay. And you see how this one, we're going to end up having the same issue we did on the other one. So let's go ahead and just make sure our part is really at the point, because we know this is the middle of the head already. So we can just part that and put it over here because that's the other half for that one. Go ahead and jam this one off. Oops, I grabbed that one. Okay, and let me loosen this up a tad. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna go from here and right over. Now this one can be a lot larger. So what we are gonna do there is take this and bring it this way some more. We want to pay attention to the fact that we are doing a large and not the large medium like that other video that we did. So we want to angle this out a little bit more and cut from there. Okay. Now it looks better if we go all the way over to the side. And let's clean that up. You don't have to put as much product on an actual person. Like I said, these straight hair mannequins, they really don't stay as well. And I want a little bit more off of that one. Make sure you guys are making whatever changes you need to do as you are going when you're doing these partings, especially if you are a beginner. When you've been doing it for a while, it's easy to go through and fix whatever and then come back. But sometimes it's just best to do it while you see it. Okay, and then this is going to be 2. So we're going to cut here, straight across there. Now, when you're doing the traditional large versus the large medium, it can seem that the front edge has less hair versus when you were doing the large medium, it was kind of opposite. This one seemed, here I go putting my phone on do not disturb and it still stopped the live. Okay, well, go ahead and section those off. Okay, now let's go hit up the other side. Let's get this one done. Jam our bases. As you can see, this one's going a whole lot faster than the one we just did. So that's why it's important to make sure that you have an understanding on what that person wants or what you're trying to do for yourself. Because if you don't want to spend all day doing it, you definitely want to make sure you're doing a large and not a large medium. Okay, and we got that point there, so we're going to take that one and bring it over to this point here, the one we got underneath there. Oh, some of it didn't go, so let's repart. Okay. Hit you a little jam if you need to. And twist it off. And we're going to use that point there, but we're going to angle it this way. That one looked horrible. Okay. Okay, that looked better. If you can't tell already, parts drive me nuts if they don't look clean. Okay, and now we're gonna go here. So we want to hit this point over here, and then you see how this one looks a lot bigger compared to that one. So what we're gonna do is open this one up some more. Take off that piece there, clean it up, add that to this one. Don't be worried, because this one is a large set, so it's supposed to be bigger. But sometimes you don't see it until you get ready to do these side braids if you've made it smaller. Okay. And now we can cut right across here, and it looks perfect. Okay. I was just checking, seeing how even it was. It looked like it was kind of short on that part. On your mannequins, you'll have a more detailed, more precise area over here. If the person's, you know, a real person here, it won't be this defined. So it'll be like baby hairs and stuff around this part. So this right here won't be noticeable that it has this slant versus it going straight across. And then go ahead and get your one over here. All right, now we're about to go into the third row, well, fourth row, your second into your across the back. So since this one's a right side up triangle, we need to make an upside down one go here. So we're going to use the point that's here and rock it off to go here. Okay, so this one's going to make it a little bit slimmer when we do it, but it's okay. Like I said in the other video, it's going to change a little bit because you have some people that have a really wide area across here. You have some people that have a skinnier area. They got like the little peanut head, so it just depends on who you're working with. So we've did our base. We're gonna comb the product through. Okay. Let's go ahead and get that one off from here to here. That's gonna give us half for the one that's gonna be in the middle. So now we're good for this side. And we're gonna part here, make this point connect with that point. Y'all gonna have to let me know how y'all like doing these live versus having the video that's already there. I like the live because I don't have to edit a video. But if y'all don't like the full follow along type thing, just let me know. All right, so here we're gonna go from this point and go straight over to this one. So connect those. Put your little jam there so that way this stays. And twist it down. And now over here, this section is going to have 2. So because we don't have, what's that? Ooh. A point that would have been closer towards this way, we're going to be using this one. So it is going to have same like that box look in the front. That's one of the good parts about when you guys are doing the triangles from the front of the person's head. It looks like they have traditional box parting. But as you look from the sides, the back, you see all perfect triangles where all of the points meet. I'm adding a little jam so that way when I twist it, it stays. And remember not to make your edge ones too skinny. On a person, this is not going to have so much hair. Your mannequin, their hairlines are very thick, so they're going to have a lot more in there versus a real person. So don't worry about that. And now we go hit up this side. So we officially got started, what, 1 minute in? So we're at 18 minutes right now. So we'd be right on that time for that 25 minutes that I was talking about in the other video if we did a traditional. So we're doing pretty good. We're going right across here. Now we got our triangle in the middle. Remember your middle triangle where it gets ready to start the top part, that horseshoe is going to seem skinnier, and that is okay. All right, and then we're going to rotate here and get the side that's over here. So we're going to go connect this point to this point that's right here. So just pull it right on through. Clean up your part and twist it off. Let's go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to rock it this way. We want to go right across there and get that triangle. Try to get it pretty dead on. There we go. And it did all of that because I didn't do my base on this one. So now you see what happens when I don't do the base. The hair kind of flies back to wherever it was at, and you can't really get as good of a clean part and for it to stay and you to see your part. So the base, it can be a personal preference, but I feel like it's great when you're doing parting so that way you don't have to do so much work. Or at least fighting with the hair, especially for people that have it's like once you part it, their hair just kind of like falls right back to the same spot. You'd be irritated. Okay, so now we're connecting this one to that one. And there we go. And twist it off. And twist this one off here. Okay, we are already at the top. But now you can see and do your cross check like we were talking about for that last video, how you can see where you have the little spurs. So you should have at least three at the bottom, 3 at the top. So 6 in total. That creates like a burst from that area. So all 6 of these are created from this one point. And you can do that and follow it pretty much everywhere around the head. So now you have 1, 2, 3 at the top and 1, 2, 3 at the bottom. All of these are all created from this point here. And it's going to look like that over the entire head wherever they look. Same. You got another burst here and they kind of like fall over. It's pretty neat once you see everything all put together. All right. So now we are doing the top portion. Now, I parted this one off super quick because I wanted to do this video to show y'all after I had did that other one. So this one, to me, what I would have done is a 3. Now, some people only like doing a 2. So this makes a big difference too. Okay, so we started this one down here at the bottom as a right side up triangle. If we was to start this as an upside down triangle, this would have been a point at the top because they're going to basically reverse everything up here, which would have been better if you wanted it to be only 2 here, because we would have went straight like this and this would have been 2 braids. But because we did not and we started it opposite, this will now have to be 3 braids, which will give them a fuller top. But at the same time, if you want to keep less braids, make sure your base on a large set is started with a upside down triangle. It's up to you on what you really feel like doing. To them, they may not notice the difference. But for you, the amount of work that you got to do is a little bit more. But you always want to make sure all of your points meet with your triangles. I don't like when people just throw a triangle anywhere and it's not meeting any points. So we got a point here and we got a point here. So we are going to go straight across here and hit that point. And then we're going to go straight across here and hit that point over there. So now, clean that up. And I'm about to move this camera up so y'all can see better. So we got a triangle here. And then we got a triangle here. And a triangle here. All right, let me move this up so that you guys can see better. Okay, and tilt that down a bit, and we come back just a bit. Okay, so now we got our 3 there. We're going to create our next ones off of here. So we have the point, so we want to make 3 come off of that point for this next row. which is going to have us have our very fronts end up with 2 at the end. I'll show y'all once we get there. So do your base. Don't forget that part. We just saw what happened there. Comb it through. Okay, so we're going to use our point here, and we're going to come out to the point that is up here. So you guys can see that. We're going to take from that point there to this point here, and that's going to give us our side triangle. And then we're going to come from this point here up to. So this is where we run into people that just end up parting some of anywhere, because they end up having it where these two did not meet. The way to fix this is to shift this row this way. So first, before we even do that, we can come here, go to the point of that triangle, get us one here, and then this one is going to go straight down the middle, because you don't want a braid that's that huge going across the entire head. So we are going to split that one straight down the middle. Okay, now we have all of those there. Now for this front, if the person wanted a middle part, all we do is follow it straight across. And that's going to put them with 2 in the front. And this is for their large with a triangle set. Remember, from the front, it's going to look like a traditional box part, but from sides back, you will see all of the triangles going all the way around. And I am just sectioning this part off so that way I can get. Ooh, don't do that. That was way too much jam. Okay. Okay, and then that would make it where they can do middle part. They can part off to the side and have a side part, middle, same for over here, and a side part and a middle. Now, if you were to shift this so that way this one meets and you have a point here, you would have basically, let's move. If you was to shift this far over, that would cut this piece in half. So the only way to get this one looking where it's 2 triangles is to split this in half here. That would give you triangle, triangle, a triangle, triangle. So to be 3 on bottom, 3 on top, that would give you the section here. So instead of it being 3 there like it normally would have been for this top, it's going to be 4. Let's double check this side over here. And we ran into the same issue. So let's line that up. And then we would basically change the angle of the part. Shift this one where it's actually coming to that part. Now we have a full triangle here. And then we're going to take this one and split this one in half and come straight across there. Now we have all of our triangles meeting. Let's clean this one up too. Ooh. Nope, that one's that. So now we have all of our triangles meeting. They do have a fuller top. So it still will come out looking more like a large set. These tops are going to change based off of the person that you have. Because even with the one that I have on the thumbnail for this one, she only had like a couple braids. I believe her top section only had 2 rows. We didn't have 3. So it depends on that person's head size as you are doing them. If we were to take this one and cut it in half, it still wouldn't look half bad. We could do that real quick, and then you can see that variation. So basically all you would do is take from that point, and we want to connect it to the point that is over here. Okay, we got point there, point there. Since this one has point here and point here, we're going to turn this into 3 still. So we have one there, we have one here, and we have one here. Then we're going to go to this front so that way we can see that. Comb all of these together. And now from this one, we would end up doing 3. So upside down triangle from this point. So they would have one there. And then point off from that one to that point. So this would make a pretty big one for a front. The way you can make this front smaller is to shift this line forward. Then you would be able to get it where their bigger section is towards the front. So basically, instead of making it from here like this and going like that, you would angle your part going up more that way. So it's kind of like a curve to your part. It doesn't really change as far as like seeing the points all meeting. It just helps that person not have such a wide braid in the very front. See, that toned that down a whole lot for this bigger one that was in the front. And we just add to those parts that we had at that top part, so that way this one has a bigger area. And this one over here, go from that part over to that one. So now you ended up with, let me clean this one up, just 6 in your top part versus the ones we had at first. So anytime where you're working with other people with different head shapes and sizes, you're going to be making different adjustments. So you see how just making that curve to it a bit, we still have triangles. They still all meet every point on the head. So you have your spur at the very top. You have another one here. You have another one here. All of them coming from this one point, 3 on top, 3 on the bottom. Lift it up a little bit more. You're gonna have the same thing over here. All of these are all meeting right here at this point, 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. So if you want to adjust where that person had that point to come from up here, remember you want to flip where you start at your base, because she has a right side up triangle starting for her entire part. When you guys are doing your parting, your nape is your guide. So if you start your nape incorrectly, you will have to either one, redo things, or you're going to have to go with the flow and just, yeah, admit you messed up. So yeah, just play with it, see which way you like it. Because we did all the different adjusting, we are what, 36 minutes, and we spent some time with that top part. So you could have been at a 25-minute if you had already started with this base being a upside down triangle instead of a right side up. And that's pretty much it. I still would suggest doing row by row when you guys are doing your braids. I don't suggest going through doing all of this parting, because you see how we went through and did the moving. We put a decent amount of jam on there, and they still kind of unraveled and did their own thing. So you would want to be braiding as you go before you are taking down each one of those sections that we did. So after you did your one down here, you parted it off, braid it up. Then go to the next one, connect your lines. Just make sure everything is connecting before you do it. If you're new to doing design parting when you're doing your braids, you can also group them off. So instead of me leaving these how they were, after I finished that section, I could have kept these all like this and then used me a duck bill or a clip to keep this section from coming undone. That would have been a perfect way. If you feel like you really want to make sure every part is perfect before you get started, clip them off. Don't let the hairs just hang like this, especially if someone has thicker, more textured hair. You're not gonna be able to see all of this. You, like right now we can see some clean parts here and there, but you wouldn't be able to see that with someone that has a really good size fro. So that is pretty much it for a large triangle part. If you guys want some different ones, a different type of style parting that you want to do a walkthrough and things like that, just let me know. You can leave it down in the comments, because I'm about to get off of here, and we can go for that one next time. See you guys later.